Hello, everybody. Another edition of Karlton Says Real Talk, where today we are talking with one of the stars of the hit soap opera Tyler Perry production, The Haves and the Have-Nots. I'm here today with Gavin Houston. How you doing today, man?
Good, man. Good. How's everything?
Everything is going good. Now, for those of you who may not know, or you do know, Gavin plays Jeffrey. And he has a very, complicated role. A lot of different storylines going on with the Have and the Have-Nots. But before we jump into that, Gavin, tell everybody, where are you from?
I'm actually from originally Guyana and with a little bit of Brazilian. And I born in Brooklyn, New York, and grew up in New Jersey.
Okay.
New Jersey.
Cool. So how exactly did you get into acting? How did you get started?
It actually, when I was younger, my parents used to take me to a lot of Broadway shows and plays that were going on in Central Park in New York. And then one time my dad was bringing my sister to a manager, and he happened to bring me along. And they ended up wanting to work with me and not my sister. So I kind of fell into it.
Oh, wow. Okay. You know what? I kind of had that similar situation. I know I'm an actor here in Augusta, and like I said, the same thing happened to me. I was taking my sister. She was like 3 at the time, and I took her to an audition, and the director heard my voice. I was telling my brother, he was 2, to sit down, and he was like, "Hey, you need to audition for my play." So, stuff like that. Stuff like that happens. So I definitely understand. Now, how did you get your part on the Have and Have-Nots? Now, take us through that process.
It's funny because I was actually in the building while they had already started casting it. They were casting it for a while, I think, for a few months in New York, Atlanta, and LA. Excuse me. And I happened to be in the building, and I was auditioning for something else. And I ran into a girl who had just finished auditioning for the show, and we were in the elevator together. Excuse me. And I asked her what she auditioned for. She told me a pilot for OWN for Tyler Perry. And I was actually like, God, I never get a chance to audition for Tyler Perry. I wish I could audition for Tyler Perry. And the next week I had an audition for it. And I went in and actually read for Jeffrey and for Benny. And I was being considered for both. And then I think at one point I was considered for Benny a little bit more. And then when I got to Atlanta, I first auditioned, then got called to screen test for Tyler Perry in Atlanta, and then it was Jeffrey was what they needed at the time. So I went in, auditioned for Jeffrey twice. One time they paired me up with Angela Robinson, who plays Veronica, my mother, and then a week later I found out the good news.
Awesome. Now, the big question, I know you probably get this a lot, but the big question, a lot of people want to know, how is it working with Tyler Perry? So how is that experience?
Oh, it's great. I mean, he's just being an actor as well as a writer and a director and being kind of a jack of all trades. He knows how to communicate with the actors. He knows what he needs from the actors and pretty much how to get them there, as well as he's open to being collaborative in the work and letting you put your own essence on it. So it's been great, and I mean he's fun to be with on set, and it's a really cool set, and it's the first set that starts off where everybody gets in a circle first thing in the morning. Everyone gets in a circle, holds hands, and says a prayer. And I've never been on a set that's been done, and it just starts off the day on the right foot, and we just enjoy and we knock it out.
Cool. Now, are there any similarities between you and your character, Jeffrey?
I think he's very different from me, but I think one of the things that he is similar about is he's very giving and available for everyone in terms of being open to help people. And I think he really wants to see everyone happy. And he's a great listener, and of course he's always trying to put a Band-Aid on the situation or help people be the best that they can be. And I think he also has passion for what he wants, and he definitely puts himself out there. So that's one of I would think, the biggest similarity between myself and the character.
All right. Well, now at the end of season 1, for those of y'all who have been keeping up with the Haves and Have-Nots, which, by the way, It's a really good show, guys. If you haven't checked it out, when it comes back, please check it out. At the end of season 1, Jeffrey, he finally came out to his parents. Now, I don't know if you can, say, I know you can't say a lot, but is there anything that you can share with us that what can we expect from your character in season 2?
What can I say? Well, in terms of I'll tell you, in terms of the show, I mean, it's got a whole different look. The storylines are amazing. The performances are amazing. Everybody came in and brought their A game, and the look of the show I think it's just going to blow people away. So in terms of that, that's one thing that I'm definitely excited about. And in terms of Jeffrey, what can I say without giving away too much? I think one of the things with him is it's an interesting transition in terms of now now it's all out. So now once it's out, there's freedom. I mean, you can go nowhere else. Everything that was so bottled up is now out there. So I think in a lot of ways he's free, and I think he has an interesting connection to another character on the show, and they become kind of really, really good friends. And I think it was a pleasure shooting it, and I think it's gonna kind of surprise the audience.
Awesome. Well, we can't wait. Now, when is the show expected to come back?
It's supposed to come back actually January 7th, 2014.
All right, cool. We heard it, guys, here first from Gavin Houston. Season 2 of The Haves and the Have-Nots should be back January 7th of 2014. Now, are there any other projects that you're working on right now?
Just the show. Right now, it's just the show because we're moving at the speed of light, and we're doing so much in a day. And it's right now, for me, it's just the show. And I left myself open to. There's a few things I'll say that happened with my character. So I took a month before just to get ready for the scenes that I had to shoot.
Okay.
And just really honed in everything on the season. So again, I'm really excited about it. And then in the beginning of the year, it's going to open up into other things. So I'm just excited going forward, mainly about the show. And right now, that's where my primary focus is, because we're halfway through. We have 10 more episodes to shoot.
Okay, cool. Now, I know, like I said, again, you just said how hectic things are and things are really busy for you. But if you do have some downtime, like since this is a blog about television, what are your favorite shows on television right now?
My favorite, without a doubt, the first show is one I would want to be on and one I would not want to be on. One is The Walking Dead. That's my favorite show right now. And my other show is a reality show which is called The First 48. Okay. I love like detective shows and crime dramas, so that I would not want to be on. But I love horror films, and I love zombies and everything. I think that show is just amazing how it moves.
Cool. Now, if your fans want to reach out to you, how can they do so?
If you search my name, Gavin Houston, I have a Facebook fan page, as well as at Gavin Houston on Twitter.
Cool. Now, this last question here. Now, for those who are, really want to break into the industry, whether it be acting, writing, directing, what have you, what advice can you give to those who are trying to just trying to break into the industry?
Well, one thing that I definitely will say is that you have to keep believing. You have to keep believing, and you have to protect that belief, because sometimes it's darkest before the dawn. Sometimes it gets worse before it gets better, but in a lot of ways it's all happening for you. And then whatever it is, whether it's writing, whether it's acting, I think you have to perfect your craft, because a lot of people, especially with acting, use it as a vehicle to become famous. And I think if you want to become famous, it's the wrong thing to do. It's the wrong career to have, because first, a lot of that fame is a huge inconvenience. But the one thing is, I think you have to be in love with the art, because at the end of the day, the business is really ruthless. So you have to really just almost be obsessed with it. And I think the last thing I would say is just the work and the effort you put into it. I think in a lot of times hard work beats out talent. And you reap what you sow, and I feel God sees everything. So if you're being diligent and you're on it, it'll separate you. And I always feel like you have to make yourself so good that they have no choice but to cast you. You have to make yourself so good that when those opportunities come, you're ready to step into that role. And I think, just like athletes, they practice every single day for hours and hours and hours. And if people are going to a class once a week, that's like brushing your teeth once a week and expecting to have white teeth. It's every day you do something towards your craft, and I know for a fact, because I'm a living example of it, that it will come back. It will come back to you, and you'll have the things that you want out of your career.
All right, and that's Gavin Houston, ladies and gentlemen. So definitely take heed to that advice. Some very good advice. Thank you, Gavin, once again for taking the time out of your busy schedule to talk with me today. I really, really appreciate it.
Thank you again for having me. Really appreciate the opportunity.
No problem. All right, guys. Again, make sure you guys put it on your calendars. January 7th, 2014, Season 2 premiere of The Haves and the Have-Nots. All right, guys. That is it for me today. That's another segment of Karlton Says Real Talk. Thank you guys for joining me today, and you guys have a blessed one. Again, thanks to Gavin Houston, and we will see you guys next time. Peace.